is up, everybody? This is just Honest here, bringing you kind of a discussion, I guess. It's more like a deck profile kind of discussion. I kind of want to discuss the Aromages stuff and how I think it'll see in the future. I want to make this very clear, though, before I continue on. I don't think that because Angelica exists, I don't think it'll be enough to make this deck considerably tier 1 or anything beyond tier 2. I don't believe that. However, the idea, this idea was kind of inspired, more or less not inspired, more or less taken from Wicked Angel who commented on the video. But I decided to I decided to take that that small idea and run a deck with it. So I kind of want to go over the deck, and I want to kind of go over some of the tech options that I wanted to try out, because I figured, why not? This deck has a bit of splashability when it comes to it. So let's just jump right into it. So obviously you're going to run the Bergamot, the Jasmine, the Cargana, the Jasmine, you're going to run the Jasmine, the Rosemary, the Cargana, the Jasmine, the Jar, the Aroma Garden, the Dry Wind, Humid Wind. You're going to run all those cards. You're going to run all of those cards. You're going to run the Angelica. You're going to run all of those cards. So that's self-explanatory. You kind of want to play these cards. This is my first kind of experience trying to build Aromages, so I don't know the ratios for each card. I know Jasmine you play at 3, I know Rosemary you probably play at 3, but I'm not sure about like Bergamot or Cargana or Aroma Jar, and I'm going to assume that you're playing 3 Angelica. I'm going to assume that, and I'm also going to assume that you're playing Glow Bulb and Spore. But mostly because I think that these cards are absolutely great in this deck anyway. So. But I also want to explain this card, Dandelion. This card kind of makes your level 2 synchro plays a little bit more efficient, which, as you can see, we're only playing one right now, which is Formula Synchron. It could change in the near future. But I feel like that this is I guess an easy way to make sure that you have your synchro plays. Also, I'd like to point out that this card also. Angelica also synergizes with Mathematician, which I'm also playing, because I think Mathematician is really good. Since you actually have a Mathematician target in this deck, you actually have a few. You have Spore, you have Glow Bulb, you have Angelica, and you kind of have Dandelion if you want that. And you kind of have other ones if you want to. So yeah, I want to explain Instant Fusion because you are playing Norden in this deck. At least that's what I think in my experience. So. From looking at this deck and seeing how this deck can perform and how optimal something like this will be, I think Elder Entity Norden is kind of a fitting card in this deck. It also makes your rank 4 plays much more insane and much more easier, at least. 1 for 1 is kind of self-explanatory because you're running Angelica, you're running Spore, you're running Glow Bulb. Those cards are 1 for 1 targets. So I mean, and you can just discard Dandelion, or you can discard Spore, or you can discard Glow Bulb, Special Summon Angelica, or you can discard one of your other Aromages that you don't really need. Like you can put like Bergamot or something, and you get something that you need. The upstart, obviously, dig deeper into your deck. Foolish Barrel, same reason why you have the rest. It's the same reason why you're playing Mathematician. You're kind of wanting the Angelica or the Spore or the Glow Bulb to be in your graveyard as soon as possible. So that way you can make your plays a lot more efficient. This is a random tech. I figured that why not? Like, not because it's good, but just to mess around and test this. Not really, but I mean, this card's probably going to come out eventually. But I feel like that just playing around with the deck and seeing what's actually good in the deck is better than not knowing if this card is ever going to work in your deck. So yeah. I also want to explain some of the extra deck choices. As I said, the Quasar and the Glow Defender plus Coral Dragon combo was inspired by a person who commented on my last video about Aromage and Aramage Sephiri Angelica. So that's why I wanted to do that. I wanted to test it out and see if it's actually good. I also had theoretically said that you could play this card in here, Phonon Pulse Dragon, because it makes other plays more live. And if you want to, this deck has the flexibility of going into rank or level 8 synchros, which is really good. So yeah. Also, with Norden and I guess Aromage being water and Aramage Rosemary being water, you can run Shark, Spider Shark, which this card is fantastic. For those of you who don't know what this card does and haven't played Mermails, I want to show you tell you what this card does. It requires 2 level 4 water monsters two level 4 water monsters. Basically, Aromage, Jasmine or Rosemary, and Norden, when any player's monsters declares an attack, you can detach one Xyz material from this card to all monsters your opponent currently controls lose 1,000 attack. That's pretty good until the end of the turn, obviously. This is pretty good because this basically says, well, you're playing Dark Destroyer, I can now knock you down and I can now kill over that Dark Destroyer. I think that with this card actually might be bumped up to 2. I might actually take up the Castell for a second copy because I think it's actually that good. When this card is destroyed by a battle or card effect and sent to the graveyard, but I mean that's kind of a bit of a downside because it has to be sent to the graveyard. It can't just die, and I guess then again it kind of would be kind of stupid. You can target one other monster in your graveyard to special summon it. You can only use the effect of this card once a turn. So basically, what this card is saying is that you can summon any Aramage monster that you want from your graveyard. You can summon your Bergamot from your graveyard. You can summon Jasmine from your graveyard. You can summon a Norden from your graveyard because it is most likely going to be in the graveyard. You can summon anything that's been synchro summoned or Xyz summoned successfully from your graveyard. So, yeah, I mean, I figured that this would be the best way to